I'm going to kick that off, and we'll do this. There we go. All right, everybody. We have our safety goggles on for this episode. We got our pit vipers on. Jim's got his on. Paul, what eyewear are you wearing today?
I am wearing gargoyles. I have behind me on this shoulder here. These were the eyewear of choice for Dale Earnhardt Sr. and
right.
for our favorite cop from San Francisco, Dirty Harry. So gargoyles.
Dirty Harry.
Sweet.
He
And
was such
the
a nice
monster in Ghostbusters.
All right. Well, we thought this episode we need to start off with a little bit of shade because it's the summer time. In the summer, we're actually, what is the spring or the fall start here? Is that September 20th?
21st, 22nd?
21st. So we're coming up on that.
I have to wear my pit vipers. If I take them off, I have white spots. I have that raccoon appearance, you know?
You've been irradiated so much.
Yep, my face is a lobster, but then I have those tan lines of my pit vipers.
Jim, I think before the episode ends, you do have to show us the inverse raccoon look.
And I can show the farmer's tan that I've accrued over the summer, too.
Yeah, the oil tanker. Are you an oil tanker or are you a tool tanker or a tool trucker? What's your trucker designation? You don't do oil tanking, do you?
I haul liquid nitrogen. I operate a liquid nitrogen pump. So I got some cryogenic fluids.
Literally, that's cool, too. But that's like Terminator 2.
Yes, sir. If I see him, I can blast him down and shatter him. I know his weakness.
That's right.
It's negative 300 degrees Fahrenheit.
I think that's where they should have ended the episode. The movie was right there. I thought that was a pretty cool deal. But
yeah, and it was a Peterbilt that he was driving too, which makes it even better.
There you go. You noticed the tractor trailer model. So, all right. Well, we're all back real quick. Any updates from you young gents?
I mean, truthfully, all I've been doing is doing videos and doing articles and writing and editing and freelance photography. And I've been trying to be more active on actually sharing a lot of the things I'm working on.
Yeah. All right. Jim?
Yeah, I'm going hammer down. All my free time spent with the YouTube, but it's football season, so the boys, out there, and I'm going all over Texas watching their games.
That's good. That's good. How many boys you got playing football this year?
I got 2 boys playing football. My daughter's cheering.
Okay. Do they have flag football in Texas for girls?
Yeah, not in our area, but I've seen it.
Yeah.
My daughter's really into cheerleading, so I think that's competitive enough,
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got an interesting episode. We're taking a slightly different angle. We're kind of going in the news with watches or in the news with EDC. And Paul and I, we were talking earlier, we talked about EDT, everyday tools, not just everyday carry. So we may just EDT this sucker every now and then with one tool in there.
Yep.
Any pocket carry stuff that you want to mention right now before we get into the slides? Do you have any pocket carry?
Honestly, I'll talk about it when we get to one of my slides where a few of my fine fellows sent in their submissions. But if anyone's watched our live streams in the past, what I carry really hasn't changed. And the watches certainly haven't changed. I've gotten rid of more watches this year than I bought. So far, I've bought 0 watches this year.
Yeah, you got a few months left of the year. You're going to be able to finish it off?
Yeah, well, the funny thing is my local guys keep giving me stuff. They're like, I feel bad that you aren't buying anything, and they give me stuff instead. And I'm like, you don't have to.
Nice Pro Trek.
Yeah. I was told you can't give this back. So.
Dang, that's a nice one.
So, Paul, are you going to have like a Mardi Gras moment on January 1st? Like, just go out and buy
No,
like
I don't
5
think
watches?
so. Honestly, I don't think so. My wonderful girlfriend Kaylee, she said, "Are there any that you want?" We went and saw Jaws last night. We saw it on IMAX, and she was like, we were talking about the watches in the movie because 2 of the 3 main characters wear watches that you can go and find. I was like, maybe one of those, but even then, I'm kind of happy with what I've got. I've got some good Casios, I've got some good analog watches.
Yep.
I don't need much more than that.
Right on. Okay. Yeah, my favorite line from that movie is, "We're going to need a bigger boat."
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good one.
All right. Well, let's get rolling. Let's get the slideshow up there. Let me see here. Let's do this. There we go. Or is this better? Which one do you guys like? Overlay or on the side?
I think the side works good for me.
Yeah, I think so too.
I really like the lighting.
All right, here we go. Jim, you're up first. You're going to take care of this for a little while here. You got some interesting stuff. We previewed this before, so what do you got going on here?
Here we go, gentlemen. G-Shock has turned to the assistance of artificial intelligence with the design of its brand new high-level MTG B4000. Okay, you want to talk about a Terminator watch? The model number, it sounds like a Terminator. Okay, now here's the thing. AI. We're all dealing with this headache of AI because people are hyping it up, right? AI this, AI that. And those of us who have to fix stuff for a living have to go out there and fix problems created by AI, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And so here's this new watch, and the subdial points to the day of the week. AI has decided that they should hide that under the hands of the watch. Okay? Look closely at the MTG B4000 and try and tell me what day of the week it is. I don't think you could because, the time covers the day of the week. Thank you, artificial intelligence. I don't know if it was like Grok or Chat GPT who decided this, but there we go. And G-Shock has turned before to AI in some promotional material. You guys remember I covered the Rescue Yellow series, and there was all of these disembodied
Right. Yeah.
people hanging out on the rocks. G-Shock is not going back to look at what AI is doing. Okay, this is out of control.
Jim, I gotta say, when you started the segment, it sounded like you were talking about this action thriller movie.
Yeah. MTG B4000 at the mall G-Shock store everywhere.
Was this a watch made for robots to wear? Is that why it's so hard to use? Is this the watch made by Terminators for Terminators?
Yeah.
Is that what this is?
It's like gibberlink. You're only going to understand it if you have the intellectual acumen of AI.
Yeah.
Humans cannot understand this watch.
Well, maybe it was invented by the AG GPT, which is the Al Gore GPT. Because he invented the internet, maybe he invented artificial intelligence. And we all
Al. We think it's AI. It's actually Al. Al made this.
Al intelligence. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, this is a separate thing, and I know that looks don't matter, but we still look at stuff. This is not a very attractive watch. I had to pull it up on my second screen here.
It's a satellite dish.
It looks like a satellite dish that someone bolted a bunch of carbon fiber to.
Yeah.
It does have one cool feature that it's kind of hard to explain, but the band kind of hooks through the bezel. Kind of those little puzzles you get at Cracker Barrel with nails kind of intertwined. The band is like that. The band is somehow intertwined with the bezel. So that part is cool. But with AI, what parts of the watch were designed by AI and what parts were by a human? I don't know. And that's the problem with using AI in your promotional material, because it's or if a student hands in a paper, maybe he used a little bit of AI, but once you get that reputation, people are going to think everything is AI. Yeah. And that's how it is with this watch. I mean, I don't know what was human designed and what was AI designed.
The issue with AI is that it truly poisons the well, right? Once a company goes and uses it for designing things or for promotional stuff, why wouldn't they go harder into it? And it's just an excuse for them to not have to pay someone to do the design work or to make the advertisements or whatever it might be. So I this is a watch that if it was made by people, we could say, hey, it's another goofy looking G-Shock. But since they've got the AI thing, it's okay, so what did the AI do and how did they ruin it?
Exactly.
I hate to spoil it, gentlemen, but I am not really here.
Oh! Tim's a hologram.
All the
Oh,
stupid
no way.
things I'm saying is actually from the internet. So, you'll never know. I kind of like the looks of it, but it does look a little satellite dish to me. And those subdials, like, I don't know, it's like at the bottom of a bowl. I'm not so sure about that. Is this a solar powered one?
Oh, I forgot to mention it's like $1,200.
$1,200.
Wow.
Does it come with a year-long subscription to a paid AI service? Or something?
Yeah.
I mean,
It creates transcripts of every one of your private conversations.
oh.
All right. No, is this solar or is it battery?
It's solar. It has multi-band 6. I mean, there are some good parts to it. It has solar, multi-band 6. The B in the model number stands for Bluetooth, so it can hook up to your Casio Watches app. And it has a nice big fat crown. It has some nice steel, metal bezel, so it's like really shiny. Carbon fiber layers on the body of the watch. So there's some good things about it, but I mean, like some interesting choices. I mean, the hands and the dial is kind of like yawn. That's my reaction. Yawn.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Does it have a light?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And
okay.
I'm looking into it. They used AI. Basically, they fed every G-Shock ever into an AI to try to make a more durable G-Shock.
So
They couldn't have just asked the people who worked on them.
So this is like a casserole watch. Like you go to school and then on Friday you get everything that they didn't eat on Monday through Thursday.
I would say this is more like a classic Midwest dump cake of a watch.
Yeah, garbage plate, as they call them in upstate New York.
No, it's called the hot dish. All right, Jim, we ready to move on?
Let's go.
Have we cooked that one enough? All right. Ooh.
Here, all right. Introducing a G-Shock collaboration watch with a Baklava brand, which is the fashion brand of a musician named Action Bronson. This is a special edition GA 2100, and this is amazing to me because this is the first collab watch that I think is a really cool watch. Like, it's not like some of their collab watches, they just slap a different colored bezel on there. This one does have a cool bezel. It's like a translucent earth tone, but they have bright hands, and then they have like a 70s retro style globe. Yeah, and then the band is a Cordura band, which I like a lot, and bull bars. And so Action Bronson, he's a musician, and he's also a foodie, and he's based in Brooklyn, and he has a YouTube channel where he goes around Brooklyn trying food. So because he loves food, he's kind of a kindred spirit to me. And I got to tell you, I like his watch. It's sold out, as to be expected, because it looks really cool, but I think it's a hot item. If you can get your hands on it, I think that you'll have a collector's item and a really cool watch.
Well, and I'm looking at the product page for it right now. If you got one of these before they sold out, the price wasn't that much more than a regular 2100.
Nope.
They were $200 is what they were directly from Casio's website.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and I will say Action Bronson's a cool dude, too. I didn't realize that this would come out. He's a great rapper and foodie, and it seems like he cares about giving back to his local community, which is a nice thing to see.
Right. Yeah, he's like the dawn of his neighborhood in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm. I've given up on the 2100. That digital display, it basically I treat it as an analog watch, and that one with what is that, like a negative display with a red background?
Yeah,
I like it. I like it. I think that's more legible than a lot of them.
More legible?
I think so. I think that the photos probably don't give it justice. I feel like it would look better in person.
Well, man, pick the right photographer then. But that's gray numbers on almost like a gray background.
You're gonna flip up your glasses to read it.
Oh, I know. That's what I did. I can't even. I think I put the other ones on. Like this is dangerous because if I flip my glasses down, I'm gonna punch myself in the eye right in the corner. But I don't know. I mean, I that to me is like, I can't even, that digital display is like done. It's cooked. I can't really see much of anything there, but it has a red accent. I mean, there's a red accent on the dial, so that kind of is cool. But
Yeah.
Is this solar? Does it come in solar? Because they do have 2100 solar.
The Casios with solar are the GAB, and as far as I know, this is just a regular GA 2100.
Okay.
So as far as I know, no solar, but they have the Cordura band, and the Cordura band is good for a big wrister, very comfortable, and a lot more durable than other cloth bands. So I like my Cordura band, and just looking at this picture, fantastic legibility, really cool looking, and apparently is this the Naugahyde colored watch?
Yes, that's what my buddy Monk there said. It kind of looks like Naugahyde, doesn't it?
Nice.
All right. And what's the cost for this one online? You buy it through Casio, right?
Yeah, $200. But I found out too late. They had it you could buy it through the Casio points program, and I am points rich. If I had known that, I would have got it with my Casio G-Shock points. I have a ton of them.
Yeah, man, you went and bought that Mudmaster. Was that the Mudmaster?
Yeah. So $800. So I got that many G-Shock points.
What are we wearing, guys? Paul, what are you wearing?
Let me pull it off here. I am wearing my Seamaster 300, which we'll be seeing in photos later in the live stream. Truth be told, I've not been wearing this watch a ton because I've really been wearing my 5610U and then my little tiny Tag Heuer diver. This teeny little guy here. I've been wearing this. If you go and watch my videos, this is usually the watch I'm wearing. I've not been wearing a lot of mechanical watches this year.
Yeah, me too. I've kind of gotten away from it. Jim, what do you got on today?
Mudmaster GWG B1000.
I think you found a new friend.
Well, I found out today in the parking lot that these dogs, it's metal, they scratch up the paint of cars parked too close to you.
Really? Was it your car that found out or somebody else's car that found out?
Oh, man. It's like, I don't know whose it was, but there's a little bit of paint on my watch from a different car.
You better get that off. That's evidence. Yeah. I'm doing the GBD 2000.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What's your heart rate right now?
What's that?
What's your heart rate?
Heart rate? Let's see. Hang on.
Flip up your sunglasses.
77. It's not bad.
That's a respectable one, yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been wearing this a lot because I've gone back to the classroom as a teacher, and we didn't have any bells to let kids out of the class. And for teachers, like you rely on that a lot. So my phone has so many alarms going off. My wrist is vibrating like crazy because of all the alarms going off, which I love because it has the vibrate alert.
Yep.
That's coming up later. Don't want to spoil it, but
nice.
All right, let's go to the next one. Let's cook another one.
Well, before we pass on, I just want to give our viewers some insight. If you do want the Action Bronson GA 2100, you're looking at about $350 to $400 from the scalper pricing right now on eBay.
Dang.
So about double the price.
Wow. All right.
And there's a lot of them on eBay right now. I'm looking at 50 of them on eBay right now.
Man, I hope they make more. If they release another batch, I'm going to try and buy it with G-Shock points.
Jim's going to come in there and like end up with an MTG satellite dish. AI watch. You should get the AI watch with your points just for fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I would see like how durable it is. I got the Watch Bopper 5000.
I love that tool. That's a good EDT.
Yeah.
All right, Jim.
All right. Casio is released its first mechanically powered analog watch. It is the Casio Edifice. I off the top of my head, I believe it's like the EDK 100 for the model number, EFK 100. And this one has an exhibition back, and it has some type of like carbon fiber in the case. At least the dial has this carbon fiber look, but it's a Seiko movement. And this is a wild release for Casio, renowned for its quartz watches. In the year of our Lord 2025, smashes the pot, with a mechanical watch. And the gentleman from Long Island Watch, was his name Mark? Was saying that this Casio scooped up so many of these Seiko movements that it affected the availability of that Seiko movement. And, here it is, a mechanical Casio. Whoever would have thought this would happen, but here it is.
Wow.
And it's interesting because I'm looking at the specs for it. It is the EFK 100. One thing is that you have to think that Casio is trying to make a watch that would compete with micro brands, but really with Seiko. And this is a watch that, Tim, you and I have monkeyed with plenty of Seikos. What do you not usually get on a Seiko for, let's say, $250? What's something that people always complain about?
Oh, it's the bezel.
Or what is the bezel holding on?
What is the bezel holding on?
This Casio is a sapphire crystal.
Which
you do not get out of a Seiko in the same price
you
range.
get the mineral. Yeah,
it's interesting.
Was it called Hexalite or Hexaflexagon? What's it called?
Oh gosh, I got rid of my only Seiko. I don't know anymore. It's just fancy Hardlex.
Hardlex, that's it.
Yeah, this is an interesting watch. I don't think I would buy one. I would rather have an edifice that's solar powered, but I think it's cool that they're doing it.
Jim, say the word Hardlex because you got that voice for it. Hardlex.
Hardlex.
That was the WWE announcer voice right there.
That was ring.
Hardlex.
Hardlex. There's the what they released to the United States is like these steel watches with a steel bracelet. In the Asian market, they released a carbon fiber watch with a rubber bracelet. And if I were to buy one of those, I would want that one. Not available in the United States as of yet, but it has a really cool look with a carbon fiber, bezel and case and everything, all black.
So, Jim, I sense a little direction in where those points are going. Is it going towards this watch?
Well, the thing with G-Shock points is that, I got a deck of cards, I got a rug, I got my G-Shock toolbox. So it's whatever they have on the G-Shock Points site.
Okay.
And they had the Action Bronson watch, but I have not seen any other watches available on the G-Shock Points program. So it's not like a free-for-all.
Okay.
You can buy anything. And this being an edifice watch, you wouldn't earn any G-Shock points by buying it,
Yeah.
You got to buy the G-Shock.
Well, if they come out with a G-Shock bathrobe, that's something you need to get.
Oh, yeah. I'll be wearing it to the live stream.
All right. Is there a loom on this watch at all? It doesn't.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. It looks like there might be a little bit on the hands.
I think the hands have a strip. I haven't seen any of these actually shown anywhere yet. I know that people have them, but I haven't seen them in detail yet.
Now it's in color. Yeah, that's almost a no-go for me. I'm so anti, analog watch without any light or loom on there. Nah. I've got a couple watches that have nothing, and one's an antique or a classic watch, whatever, a vintage watch. But I just can't do the watch without any type of illumination at all. All right, Southern Brazil. Wow.
Nice.
Awesome.
We are going international with our Pit Vipers on and our gargoyle. So it's a culture shock, I'm sure. All right. Anything else on the edifice, guys?
I think it's cool to see them expand the edifice line. The edifice line is one of those things where I think that there's a lot of room for Casio to do the more kind of fancier Casios, which they're already doing when you think about all of the high-end G-Shocks, right? But that's a different audience than someone who wants a kind of more like a dress watch like this. I'm happy to see more things from them, and the fact that Casio calls to run on NH35 movements is kind of funny to me.
Yeah.
It's
wild.
If they can drive down the cost of a sport watch with a sapphire crystal and an NH35 movement, because of the size of the company, buying things in massive amounts, I think this is going to be awesome for the edifice line. I really do.
Well, I guarantee that they're a whole lot cheaper than what they're showing up as on Casio's website too.
Oh, here there's no AR anti-reflective coating on the edifice. Okay, that's actually a good point. I wonder is there anti-reflective coating on there at all, Paul? on the specs?
I would be surprised if they had double layer. I bet it's probably single layer. Let me do a check here on the website.
Right. I do like the looks of this watch, though. This one, it almost has kind of that. What was the Seiko model that they had? That was the. It wasn't the SKX. It was the one that was the classic
SK5.
version.
There was the people called it the Dress KX. Is what
the Dress KX. It looks a little bit like the Dress KX.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me too of like a Breitling Endurance, I think it is. Mm-hmm. Maybe it has to do with like the metal indices in the hands. Obviously, the dial isn't as busy, but it's the same kind of idea. It's like a sporty mechanical type of watch.
I would also say it certainly has some Rolex in it too. The date's in a different spot, but that is like the classic Oyster Perpetual, where it's simple indices. Doesn't have the Mercedes hands, but this is meant to be a little bit simpler. Yeah. The listing does not show anything about anti-reflective coating on the crystal. Okay. It just says sapphire crystal. Scratch-resistant sapphire crystal is the most detail that they give you on the website.
All right, Paul's in the house, everybody. There we go, Paul.
Is that Fireman Fratch?
That's Fireman Fratch.
Nice. We also have a comment from the Southern Scrap Goblin. I think it popped up for a second. He says that he doesn't buy watches because he kills them. As the Southern Scrap Goblin tried a G-Shock.
He's one of my guys. We can see about sending him one of my spare G-Shocks.
Okay. Yeah, have him trade in trade in some copper. Is he scrapping metal? Is that why he's called a scrap goblin?
So I don't think he's going to care that I say this, but he is someone who is always at the flea market. And he somehow manages to get stuff cheap and sell it for far too much money. So, so I'll have to see if we can work out a trade for something.
I'll get him something. We got a canister laying around. Jim or Paul or Jim, you got a whole coffin full of them.
Yeah. Oh man, I got a ton of them. The coffin's full. They're spilling over into the sock drawer of my dresser. So
like a mass burial grave you got going on there. This kind of goes with the goblin theme. All right, let's move on to the next one. Oh, I like the looks. This is my favorite of your list, I think.
That's right. Citizen is hitting G-Shock with a 1-2 punch. The first haymaker was the ProMaster U822. I have it over here. It is a analog watch with a MIP subdial. Okay, so G-Shock had their MIP watches for like the GBDH 2000, like Tim has, and then out of nowhere, Citizen drops the ProMaster Land, which is combination watch, is what they call anti-digi watches, that has an MIP subdial. G-Shock has not released one yet. Now Citizen has released a second model that has an MIP subdial, and this one has 3 analog subdials in addition to the MIP subdial.
Right.
And so this ProMaster Skyhawk U830 looks like a fantastic watch. We have the MIP subdial. We have, those T pushers and that fantastic Citizen loom. So this one looks like it could be a winner, okay? Because I have that ProMaster Land I was telling you about, and there are some shortcomings to it. One, that it doesn't have as much functionality as you'd think looking at the watch, because it has like a compass rose, but doesn't have, any compass functionality. So there's a lot of like design features that are just kind of like decorations and not functional. But looking at this watch, it looks like that there are some legitimate functions to this watch.
Okay. I have a Nighthawk, which is just an analog version of this, or a similar version of this one. It's a pilot watch. I love it because of the history of it, and I have to blame Dave over at Just the Watch for hooking me into that one. But this one I like. I love the anti-digi on this one. The price is kind of steep, but I love the bracelet. That's a great bracelet, by the way. Is that bracelet one of those glide locks, or one of the micro adjust?
It has a fold over. Is that what you mean?
Well, no, you can like press a button and just kind of expand it in and out. without having to get a tool out and do the micro adjust pins. It's just kind of a.
I don't think
Whaley's
so. I
that.
think it's a classic, like you have to pull out a tool or something. And
Yeah.
I will tell you the price. Don't look at that $7.95 because if you look at the bottom of the page, there's already a 10% discount. And knowing Citizen and Boulevard all of their watches, this thing will be 20 to 30% off all of the time.
There it
Yes,
is.
sir.
Yeah,
So
that's a beautiful watch. I like that watch.
this ProMaster Land, the U822, this one is the same thing that, on the website it retails for $800, and you go and you wait for there to be a sale, and then I think I picked mine up for like $500.
Yeah.
So still not a cheap watch, but this one gets a lot of comments. It looks really nice.
It's a beautiful watch. I love that watch. That's a great watch.
Yes,
I've
sir.
got it on my Amazon card, I think, or whatever you call it, list. I have it on a list.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think part of it is that Citizen's also just really doing a lot of great stuff these days. I think they're beating Seiko at doing a cool utilitarian watch, and they are competing with the nice higher end G-Shocks pretty well too.
Now, is this an Echo Drive or is this straight up battery?
Nope. It has an Eco Drive. So
Okay.
it will power the watch for a long time, even if like you keep it in the sock drawer. The batteries on the Eco Drive last for a long time.
Yeah, because everything shuts down. And
Yeah.
Paul, when I did that Momentum UDC.
I saw the UDT.
I
I
took it
saw.
Yeah, I took it out. Yeah, UDT. I took it out and it had hardly any battery juice at all. It had only been out of the sun for about a month, maybe 6
Yep.
weeks.
Well, because that watch doesn't stop. It just keeps
Yeah.
going and going and going. It's because they didn't actually get a solar movement. They got an anti-digi movement, and then they fitted a solar panel to it. They didn't actually get a solar movement.
Right. No, I love the Eco Drive. It's an awesome setup. It's one of the better ones out there, along with I think Casio's Solar, Tough Solar is really good too. But
Mhm.
that's all digital. This is Annie. I love the Annie Digi Eco Drive. The bomb. All right, Paul.
It's
Holy,
me.
you're up. Here we go.
So the first bit of news I have here is one that isn't news, but the two of you hadn't heard about it, and it is a thing that I'm not happy about.
It's news.
So it's news to us because we like their stuff. So this
Yep.
is a photo that I took last year for a water filtration episode that Tim and I did back in 2024. And this is my Mystery Ranch. It's not quite a rucksack. It's a hiking bag. It's like 22 liters. I have this here as a stand-in because Mystery Ranch was purchased by Yeti, the cooler company that does like the mugs and the coolers. And from what I've seen from Yeti, there's a very good chance that Mystery Ranch will not be continuing as a brand. Once we clear through the end of 2025 or into the middle of next year, Mystery Ranch is going to be going away and they're just going to be fully absorbed by Yeti. And I'm not a fan of that because Mystery Ranch is a well-established brand. I've got one of their 50-liter, like 2-day like hiking bags that I love, fanny packs, this bag, all sorts of stuff. And it's unfortunate to see that company basically go away so that Yeti can just get all of their designs and concepts to use for their own stuff.
Yeah. I've got that exact bag. Mystery Ranch is such a great backpack quality. They have that Y design where it opens up like
The
an alien.
tri-zip. Yeah.
Tri-zip. It looks like it's coming out of the chest of an alien.
Well, even simple stuff like that bag there, it's all rainfly zippers that are very watertight.
Yeah.
And the quality, like they weren't cheap, but you could pretty routinely find previous season's bags on sale for a good price.
Yeah.
And like when they sell a backpack for $300, it feels like a $300 backpack. It doesn't feel like a $150 backpack upcharged to $300.
Right.
So it's unfortunate.
Well,
Yeah.
Paul, I'm going to give you a compliment. That's a great looking backpack. Now you've got.
Thank you. I think that pattern is Dutch woodland camouflage.
I'm giving you a like as well.
A like? Can you subscribe too?
Yeah, what's
I'm
your
stunned
favorite
by
camel?
this news. Stunned to hear that Yeti bought Mystery Ranch. This just like blew me away. And I have a Mystery Ranch, a 50-liter with that frame, so the backpack can come away from the frame, and you can put another whatever you need to in between. Like if you bag something while hunting, or even like a water bladder, like a giant one. It's a fantastic, versatile backpack, high quality. And now that I'm thinking about it, I vaguely remember Yeti, I think, has already released backpack with that zipper
they have.
configuration.
Yeah.
And in the comments, everybody's like, "Oh, you're ripping off Mystery Ranch."
They own them.
They own them.
Yeah.
I found that out today.
Oh, by the way. Wow.
Well, and it's, put it into perspective, Yeti is a company that is publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange. They're a massive company. And I know that this isn't the first backpack company that they've purchased over the years. I'm looking at their website, and apparently they started the proceedings to buy Mystery Ranch back in 2014. So it's been a number of years that they've been eyeing the company. That's unfortunate because I hate to see companies go under. I will say that if people were like, hey, I want to get another small backpack company that is still very much based out of the American West, look at Osprey Bags. Osprey. They're based out of Colorado. They do the stitching. Some of it's Asian stitching, and then it comes to the U.S. to get finished. But their quality is comparable to Mystery Ranch, and they are still a small company that is independently operated out of Colorado. So I would recommend Osprey Bags.
Or just a typical trash bag. That's
Trash bag with some rebar in it,
An empty dog food bag, just soaking straps on it.
Duct tape. Duct tape, man. Reinforcement duct tape and have it come all the way around.
What's the brand of like $20 backpacks that every kid has when they're in like the 4th grade? Just get one of those. Yeah, JanSport. Get you a JanSport backpack and a JanSport pencil case to hold all of your goodies.
Well, it's the crayon, the 64 crayons with the sharpener in it, which I never had. I was always depressed. I never got one of those crayon sets for my elementary school career.
See, the thing for me is that the crayons never had different flavors between the colors. They all tasted the same.
Yeah. Don't give Paul any of those Mr. Sketch scented markers.
They all taste the same, but it came out like a rainbow, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. It came out like a brick.
A speckled rainbow. All right.
But yeah, it's sad to see Mystery Ranch disappear.
Yeah, likely. Yeah.
So what this is I had a bunch of folks after I said, hey, we're doing a live show soon. Send me in your EDCs. I ended up taking the first 3 that I got. So I know at least one of these people is in chat right now, and I want to be thankful here. But I have Monk, Spud, and my buddy Lum. The 3 of them sent in photos. I did have to crop them a little bit to kind of fit for the live stream here. But going from left to right across my screen and how it should be here, Monk, the comment that he put in with that photo is that he's not carrying, we'll start with from the top down, he's not carrying both those guns at the same time. He just wanted to include what he's got for a lighter day and a day where he's carrying a heavier gun. So he has an AREX SIG 226 clone and then a Smith & Wesson J-frame as the revolver. So he alternates between those two. Right. The hat is a cool U.S. Navy Stingray submarine hat. Ooh. And then, of course, a classic leather wallet, as many of us have, the classic dad wallet, if you will. He has a cool folding pocket knife there. And then I have to zoom in because I have the photo here on my side. That Zippo lighter he has a map of North and South Vietnam as how it was during the Vietnam War. Okay. He has a small pen light from Coast, which is like I think it's Home Depot's store brand. And then he's got our favorite Casio to look like a used car dealer. We have the A168, which I think he bought on my recommendation a year or 2 ago.
Nice.
And the A168 is one of my favorites to gift to people because it's fun. Either you get it in silver or that gold, and it just works well. His multi-tool there is a Leatherman. It's hard to see. I think it's a Sidekick. That is one of their more budget Leathermans, but it's still very good. It's still a U.S.-made Leatherman made in the Pacific Northwest. And then one thing that might not show up here on the live stream, but I would recommend anyone do this. If you're a fan of taking a picture of your EDC, a thing you should do is hide your keys or tape up your keys because you can actually copy somebody's keys from a photograph, especially car keys where they are not that unique. They have chips in them, but the key itself is not that hard to actually copy. So looking at the photo. Oh, of course AI can. It can scan real easy. Yeah. But one thing, I'm just now noticing it. 2 of my guys have a Half-Life USB stick. So the classic 90s game Half-Life, they have Half-Life USB sticks on their keys. So that's fun. Working over to Spud, and let me pull up Spud's photo here in larger detail for me. Spud has a slimline Glock, which is one of the types that I carry, with a Hollow Sun red dot on there. His keys are simple, but we can see the Swiss Army knife on the keys. Tim, I know you and I are both fans of the classic tiny Swiss Army knife. His watch is a Steinhardt diver, which those are really good for the money, all things considered. He is carrying a small Streamlight pen light. He has the chapstick, which is an underrated thing to carry as part of your everyday carry. Chapped lips is one of the worst minor inconveniences you can have on a daily basis.
Paul.
Yeah, you're from the high desert.
She won't mind
Exactly.
that much, Paul. She won't mind that much.
And then I had to pull the gargoyles back to look. His pocket knife, and Spud, if you're watching, you can correct me either now or in the future. I believe that's a Spyderco, but that's an Almar design pattern. So Almar Knives is a classic knife company from like the 80s and 90s that did a whole lot with that blade shape and very lightweight materials. And they did stainless stuff. It was really popular with paratroopers and military guys during the beginning of the Global War on Terror. But it's just a cool knife there. And then, of course, for my buddy Lum here at the end, he is a big CZ guy, as Tim, I know you are.
Yeah.
Too. And he has a CZ there that he has done a lot of work on and a lot of shooting with. The watch is actually a Casio that I sold him a long while back, and that is, I believe that is the WS 1600. The one that has the 3 registers at the top. They're not subdials, they're registers that work for the timing function. And he's liked it, and he's got it on a NATO adapter for it. He is also carrying a Swiss Army knife, which I believe I gave him. Again, there's a trend here that some of these folks are people I've known a long time. It's one of the ones that has the A-LOX aluminum handles.
Right, yeah.
He has a small pocket light, a spare magazine, his keys, which he did. Again, all 3 of my fellows here, they hid their keys, which is the intelligent thing to do. He has a wallet, and then he has his rosary.
There you go.
So, yeah. So these, I have more folks that sent things in, but I wanted to highlight these first 3 because they were the first 3 that responded when I did my call out to, hey, if you want to be in the video, send me your EDCs. And you'll notice trends. You know, all 3 of these guys are wearing watches. They've all got a pocket knife of some variety, whether it's a Swiss Army knife or a proper pocket knife. All of them are carrying small flashlights. And then they've got specific things tailored to their needs, right? Because we can't just blanket say you should be carrying this, 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 and this. Is there a point for you to carry a full-size Leatherman if you're never turning a screw or pulling something on a daily basis? Maybe not, right? So it's interesting to kind of get that insight into folks' pocket stuff.
But if you want to get some extra notoriety on this live stream, you would.
There you go.
You know what I noticed here, Paul, is that these are all in the waistband carries, aren't they? Am I saying that right?
Yeah. I mean, the modern thing that people do these days is and this is, you know, because my YouTube channel is very focused on firearms and carry, appendix carry, so 12 o'clock in front of you, in a pocket or on an ankle. Those are the 3 most common ways that I've found that people are carrying these days. And I do appendix and pocket carry for my 2 ways. I don't do ankle because, as you've seen, Tim, I like to wear shorts. And it's hard to hide an ankle gun when you don't have pants on. But I've got more submissions for our next live stream, but I wanted to highlight these 3 first.
Yeah. All right, let me see here. What's the next one? There we go, Paul.
So
Jim, any comments? We didn't really comment on this. Any comments, Jim?
Well, man, I mean, I like firearms. I like what Spud is carrying.
Yeah.
Monk, I appreciate Monk's style. I'm just wondering if he wants to upgrade his revolver's handle to mother of pearl.
I know a certain someone who could source him some mother of pearl.
I know an expert on that.
Hey, I know how to make something expensive look real cheap, okay?
Hey, Paul, is the CZ on Loom, is that a CZ75?
So, yeah, so what that is, and he can correct me, I believe that's a CZ PO1, which is the shorter model that has an accessory rail, and he sent it off to a custom shop to have it mounted for a red dot.
Yeah.
So, and he's had that gun, I've known him 4.5 years. Oh gosh, probably 5 years at this point. I've known him a long time, and he's had that gun for most of the time that I've known him. Yeah. So, yeah, he's a big CZ fan. I think he currently owns half a dozen CZs that are all different models. None of them are duplicates.
Yeah. Yeah, once you go CZ, it's hard to go. Like, there's an accuracy with them that's, and Glocks are good too. They're all really close, but there's something about a CZ that's just like, man, you feel it in your hand when you're holding onto an all steel body like that.
Are we talking about the gun, or are we talking about the AI Terminator watch?
Yeah, that too. That too.
They go together.
Yeah, that looks good. We got the AirPods. that's in there.
Hey, honestly, wireless headphones are an underrated thing to carry. If you have ones like those AirPods that have you can either throw on noise cancellation or noise through. It's easy to not get, like my big thing is I don't use both earbuds in when I'm doing something in public. Like when I'm at the gym, I have one in. When I'm out walking or going for a jog, I have one in, so I just still be able to hear stuff. The newer headphones are a lot better about not being noise canceling quite as much.
Yeah. The nice thing about AirPods or AirPods, whatever they're called, in an emergency situation, it frees your hands up and you're still talking. And you can put your phone wherever you want. I think that's great. And that's what I think of that when I'm, at school or something like that. Like if I have an emergency, those are going in my ears right away and I'm going to turn it on transparency mode.
Yeah.
So you can answer phones just by double clicking on there or click on there and you can answer the phone if you have to and hang up and all that stuff. So yeah. Cool. All right. Any other comments? Are we done?
I'll thank the three guys here who sent photos in, and I have another 4 or 5 for the next one, and there'll be more before that too.
Does a Lum does he has a nice? Is that like a Chevy or something?
So
by the fall,
okay.
It's like he's old school in his vehicles. And I'm the same way.
Buick LeSabre is what he has.
Yeah.
I remember when he bought it, and we dogged on him so much for it. And I think the car has worked fine, but it's also been every time he has to pay mechanic bills, he messages me about it because it's 25 years old.
Yeah, but that engine, 3800, man, that's a great GM engine.
I have a 25-year-old Ford, and it's about to hit 300,000 miles. So
nice.
I appreciate a guy who keeps a vehicle lasting for a long time.
Well, and truth be told, Jim, I won't give away where he is, but he's not too far away from you.
Okay.
So yeah, there we go. Down Periscope for the hat.
I like this comment. This is good.
Yep, that doesn't surprise me.
That's our audience right there. They're out selling lawnmowers, getting her done.
Yeah.
Hey, well, there's a connection. It comes full circle. He's selling a lawnmower. You had the lawn care business.
Right. That's right.
Was it a Briggs and Stratton?
It has to be. Goblin, was that a Briggs and Stratton engine or was that a Honda? Because really, you either go either way. You go Briggs and Stratton, or it's Honda.
As long as it isn't a battery-powered Ryobi, I think we're good.
Yeah.
None of that stuff. All right, we're going to go back. We're going to go to the next slide for the third time. Here we go.
Yeah, so this one, I wanted to talk about this. This is a slide that I used in my Palm pepper spray video that I put up back in July. Palm pepper spray is U.S.-made pepper spray that I've been a big fan of. Tim, I know that you've used pepper spray and you've been pepper sprayed, and as have I. What I like about this spray is that it's not actually a spray; it's a stream, so you can actually aim it and get a good hit on something that you're trying to pepper spray. And I recently did that video on it because I'm a firm believer that if people can carry pepper spray, they probably should. There are plenty of places where you can't carry knives or guns that you can still carry pepper spray into. Pepper spray is actually fairly easy to travel with, even when you're flying. You can fly with pepper spray as long as you follow the TSA guidelines with it. And specifically, Palm is the one that I like because of that stream rather than a mist or a spray. And then they sell a bunch of different styles, whether it's the clip style or a keychain lanyard, or they have newer cans that are made for law enforcement, but they sell to anybody, which I think I've got one here, where it is a larger can that has a big clip to make it easier to get it onto a utility belt. But I just really dig it. Palm pepper spray. I really dig what they do. Again, they're U.S.-based. One kind of humorous thing is that they're based out of New York, but they can't actually sell their pepper spray in New York because of the laws of New York.
There you go.
Which is baffling. But yeah, so Palm pepper spray, if you're looking for pepper spray. And this is proper non-lethal. With how U.S. law is written in pretty much every state, lethal harm is also considered to be grievous bodily harm. If you have pepper spray that's like a pepper ball gun thing, that could hypothetically knock someone's eye out. You could poke someone's eye out with that. That is considered to be grievous bodily harm in most states. This pepper spray cannot kill somebody, which is why it's great, because it's not a thing that you have to, if you're concerned about, I don't want to carry a gun or a knife because I don't want to possibly kill somebody, this is one of those things that is properly non-lethal. And I would recommend it. Palm sells it for $15 on their website, but they're always doing sales. And they sell inert water cans. That way you can actually go out and practice with the pepper spray. This is a thing that Kaylee and I do, where I joke that she gets to pepper spray me once a year because she gets to actually practice with the inert stuff to make sure that she still has good aim and whatnot. So yeah, palm pepper spray.
I tell you what, we are set up to counteract the palm being shot at us right now with our glasses.
That's right.
Totally set.
Yeah,
That's
pit
why I wear
vipers.
Pit vipers everywhere I go.
Pit
Someone
vipers
might
are
pepper
the-
spray me.
The
See, I
antidote.
got gargoyles and they don't stop palm, so I'm a little
that's
SOL
question.
over here.
That's the question. And you got, Jim, I'm sorry you don't have the flips, but
Yeah. You keep flipping us off.
That's the thing is you get hit with the pepper spray, you flip up and it just shoots off your head.
yeah, you just get it out of the way. Now what I'm doing, and I can react with viciousness. All right, that's actually cool. I think that's something that a lot of people they tend to get pushed into buying a gun before they realize there's a lot of other options out there. I was looking at a taser actually. You can buy a taser, and there's restrictions around tasers, but the civilian version of a taser is different from law enforcement. Law enforcement, it's a 5-second jolt and then it's done. The civilian is 30 seconds, last I know. And the idea is that you shoot somebody with it and then you take off, run away, because that's 30 seconds of disability for the person who gets tased. Lit up like Christmas trees.
One thing I have to say about that, though, for the civilian side is let's say that you have a taser that is like an X26 style, like taser one that has the prongs to shoot out. If you hit somebody in the eye with that and they go blind, that is grievous bodily harm.
Sure.
Right? And that's the thing. And people can have heart attacks from tasers. Not that they aren't useless. They certainly have a place. But I think for the average person, if you are a regular person, I would recommend the palm pepper spray.
Yeah.
Right? Once we get into carrying tasers, unless you're in a place where like you absolutely can't carry a gun and you want to have more than just pepper spray, I would just say move at that point. I wouldn't stay there. It's the first thing I'd do. But
don't live in one of those states they can't just move. Good advice.
There's an instructor that I've trained with, a guy named Chuck Haggard, and this is a phrase that everyone parrots, but it's a great phrase. Pepper spray is the middle ground between a harsh word and a gun. It gives you that option. If you aren't trained in jiu-jitsu or some sort of actual hand-to-hand combatives, if you are someone who is, you have muscular issues or you're elderly, pepper spray gives you another tool that you wouldn't otherwise have. And if I get my can of pepper spray, my actual palm, it is this big. If I have my palm over it, it is gone. This is a very easy thing to carry. It weighs 2 ounces. And they have clips and they have things that attach to keychains. They have breakaways, so you can rip it off your keychain and use it separate from your keys. So I'd recommend it. There's a reason why I made the video. And it's funny because they contacted me and said, hey, would you like to get some pepper spray to test? I said, I'm already working on the video. If you want to give me the cans of pepper spray, I will give them away to my viewers. And I did that. So I would recommend this brand.
Nice. It's good stuff. And that pepper spray, when you get shot anywhere near the eyes, it lasts for a good half hour.
And this stuff is really potent. From everyone I've spoken to who's been pepper sprayed with the palm formulation, they have a higher OC compound in there, both for the maximum that's carried on it, but also the within that 10% OC compound, they have a higher volume of the capsaicin. They call it capsaicinoids. Is like the minimum spiciness. It's actually at the highest that they can legally do in the U.S.
Yeah.
So it's potent stuff.
That right there, that's when you get something that's the highest that's allowed in the U.S., that's a good sign.
Yeah.
That's a really good sign. And again, probably illegal in California and New York because it says.
I will say, if you go online and just look up where is pepper spray legal, you'll find where certain states have restrictions. Some might shock you because some cities have their own ordinances. Like even in places like Texas or Montana, you might find specific townships or cities that have ordinances against specific like volumes of compounds. Yep. But generally speaking, it's Massachusetts and New York are the 2 worst states for pepper spray. I think California is actually better about it than what you'd think.
Yeah. So with all this stuff, check your local laws.
Yes. Yes, none of us are legal counsel.
We are not legal counsel. Even though we might look like it, we're not.
Yeah.
If your lawyer shows up looking like one of us, you might want to get a different lawyer.
Or you just got the person you needed, man. Let's go.
Yeah. We're gonna settle this outside the court. The old-fashioned way.
Yeah, Jesse Ventura when he was governor said, I'll take you out to the woodshed out back. Let's go to the woodshed. All right. All right, we're going to bust past this one. We're going to go. So this is the one I have. I have one. I saw this probably, maybe it's a year ago. little more than a year ago, and the YouTube channel is called Earthling EDC. And I forget the guy's name that came up with this idea. And I don't know if it's an original idea, if he just modified it to make it really good. This is super effective. He has this like credit card sized piece of, I think it's Kydex or plastic or something along that line, with all these notches around the edges. And you can get these elastic bands that you can secure all these different little tools and things like that. You can see some of the stuff he's got on there. Needle nose pliers, knives, flashlights, cigarette lighters, all kinds of stuff. And it just keeps it all together in your pocket. Now, for my sake, it's like, man, that's a lot of stuff in your pocket, because no matter what, every one of those things takes up volume. You can't escape the physics of volume. But it's not rattling around in your pocket, So to me, it's like either it's in your pocket or in a little small carry pack or something like that. You have all these little tools. And frankly, I really, really like this design. It's such an intuitive, ingenious design. And again, I don't know if he's the originator of it, but he's really been focusing in on the elastic bands that hold things down. And I've watched his videos on the development of this, because you can watch, if you go back to the early stages of this system, it's evolved probably 5 or 6 times in substantial ways since he first started putting it together. And I think he's got himself a nice little niche market there. But it's just a cool design. It's like really simple. And again, all these small tools and things that, keeps things kind of miniature, minimalist kind of approach. I think it's a great EDC thing if you get into that kind of stuff. Wearing cargo pants and backpacks everywhere you go. I watched a guy come into church with a backpack. I'm like, man, what size Bible you got in there? And he sat down, he puts the backpack down and sits next to me. Like, I'm curious. I want to ask him, like, what do you have in your backpack that you have to bring it into church? And maybe he's security too. It's like talking to his wrist. Like, no,
you gotta ask.
So,
see, this reminds me of something from a company called Raven Concealment. They're a holster maker that has existed for 20 years. They do a thing called the pocket shield, where it looks like a shield, but it's a thing that fits into your pocket to follow the contour. And they sell it as a way to actually attach like a pocket knife or your flashlight or something onto it, that it doesn't show a clip, but it keeps it in a certain orientation. And the idea of, this is going to sound so nerdy, but organizing what is inside of your pockets is a thing that we might already be doing, right? When you go, say, I'm going to go out for the day, your cell phone probably goes in the same pocket you always put it in. Your pocket knife's probably always in the same pocket. Your wallet's always probably in the same place. We're just kind of figuring out how to optimize doing that kind of stuff, right? So that way you always know where whatever you're normally carrying actually is in your pants.
Yeah.
Why do you get a fanny pack?
I'm totally
a fanny pack wearer.
Are you?
I got mine.
I'm totally sold
yeah.
on the side pockets, the small ones, like for cell phones and for wallets. Mm-hmm. I love that because it gets it out of my front pocket or back pocket, gets them on the side, and then you got your keys and pen or flashlight or whatever in your front pockets. And it doesn't, like, again, volume is volume. You carry that much stuff. It's a package that you're walking around with. If you know what I'm saying? So I like to spread it out just a little bit. That's why I like the cell phone on my hip or my side of my pocket, and my wallet on the other side. And it's just easy access for those things. I don't know if that's easier for people to steal it though either. I mean, I don't know if that's a security issue that I just created, but I do like spreading.
What I would say is that it depends on where you are, right? If you were to go to Rio de Janeiro, you probably wouldn't keep all of your valuables in a spot where it's easy to get pickpocketed, right? But if you're in Hamilton, Montana, you're probably fine.
Yeah, no, you're gonna get a response from everybody around you. Yeah. All right. Any other comments on the news? EDC, EDT, DDT. Nothing.
All I want to say is I appreciate Jim for exposing more of the new Casio and Citizen stuff, because I've been so focused on kind of what was happening locally here for watch stuff with local brands and whatnot. And at the heart of it, I am a Casio fan. And as time goes on, I like Citizen a lot more than Seiko, so I appreciate that Jim shared that news about Casio and Citizen here.
Cool.
Yeah, maybe we could get some of those to test them for our channel. I mean, like, I'm honestly not that interested in the mechanical one, but maybe we could get one and
Blow it
send it
up.
around. Yeah,
Go Casio.
blow it up.
Go Casio. We can do this.
Well, I can
All right,
see
so
if
Paul,
any of my locals acquire one. I can see if we can borrow one if they don't mind us doing some stuff to it. We can see.
Yeah, you may have to hold back on the Bopper 5000.
I don't know. They might want that.
Just a few
Who
wallops.
knows?
We won't go to town. Just one or two wallops.
One or two wallops, sir. Paul, you got a watch on here. Are we going to the watch next?
Yeah, I think we can probably move on to the next topic if we want to.
Okay. So there we are.
So what this was is that Tim and I had a phone call on Saturday, and the topic of, we want to talk about EDC stuff, but we still want to talk about watches. What can we talk about? And Tim had just mentioned going back into teaching and features he was finding more useful now that he's back in the classroom. And that led us to the idea of what is a singular feature, or maybe a series of similar features, that we have kind of realized that we need to have on the watch to actually want to wear it. And I don't just mean simple stuff. Like I could say I need to have hands on the watch. Well, obviously, if it's an analog watch, I got to have hands on there, right? But I mean a feature that is not just telling the time or telling the date. And mine is a simple one here. And this is a thing that whether it is my Casio Triple Sensor Pro Trek here or my Omega Seamaster, they all can do. And that is a way to track the elapsed time, basically to act as a timer. And that's such a simple feature, but it's something that I find myself using every single day. We cook pretty much every night here, which means that I need to be able to track how long something's been in the oven or how long I've had, water boiling for pasta, things like that. A simple feature for me is that elapsement of time tracking. And with a dive watch like this, you rotate the bezel, or we have stopwatch functions on the Pro Trek. Simple stuff there.
All right. I'm going to go next. I've got two. It's a tie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a tie based off of, it starts with Casio, but like what you're talking about, one of them is a timer. I've got to have some way of timing. And I know the watch is a timer itself. Like just remember when you started, when you look at your watch and remember, 20 minutes later, whatever. So I get that, but it's the bezel or if it's a digital watch, it has a timer function. So that's one. The other one is specific to Casio, at least for now. Maybe Citizen will pick this up, and that's the vibrate alert. I love the vibrate alert on there, whether it's the hour chime. So one of the things with a Casio I do not like is the hour chime to go off. It's annoying because you always find yourself in that one spot where your watch, chimes on the hour, and it's a quiet moment, theater, church, private place or whatever, and like don't need that. But with a vibrate alert, it only vibrates on your wrist. I know that we're on the hour, and not to mention alarms and timers. When you set an alarm or a timer, I know it, and nobody else really knows that it goes off. And a lot of smartwatches have that. I think that's the one thing for a Casio that I absolutely love is the vibrate alert. That the GBDH 2000. I blame Jim for this one. This is it's an awesome watch, and I blame him. Like it's a good deal. I love the vibrate alert on here. The what is it? What's another one that does that? The GD
350.
Yeah, the GD 350. I wear that one a lot. It has 5 alarms on there, and so I can set it off to do all kinds of different stuff, and it just notifies me. So I have any vibrating alert watch. I have that function on, and I have the hourly chime on. I've never worn the hourly chime on until I started getting the vibrating alert watch. Now I wear it on all the time. I have that indicator on all the time. So that to me, at a Casio, vibrate alert if you can get it. Otherwise, a timer function across all watches. I'm with you on that, Paul. You got to have a timer function. Jim, what say you?
Yeah, like the one thing I've ranted about a lot on my channel is that you get all these brand new highfalutin G-Shock watches with the MIP screen and Bluetooth, bells and whistles, and the timer only goes out to 1 hour.
Yes.
And is about as good as a one of those moving the bezel around on an analog watch. I mean, like I would want a nice long timer, especially with all these stupid washing machines they have nowadays, where that take 66 minutes to wash a load of laundry. It's outrageous. And so that's something that I'm hoping that Casio will work on. And and then the other thing that I would say, I mean, I agree with you too about the vibrational arm. So many commenters in my videos saying how much they want the vibrational arm. Like the Casio beeping is often not heard if it's loud. You could never miss the vibration alert on your wrist. And so with a Mudmaster, the GWG B1000, this is an analog G-Shock watch that has much better loom than the other G-Shock watches I've had. And I have gotten used to the feature of being able to quickly tell the time while I'm, in bed sleeping without having to hit a button to see, to illuminate it. Just looking at that loom is really nice. And so I've become accustomed to that. And I see why some guys have a watch just for sleeping that has that loom,
Loom is so important, man. Any mechanical watch, loom is near the top of my list because it helps you use it in those low light situations.
Yeah.
And you don't need a light.
And that's the thing, is that we've talked about this a lot, Tim, you and I have in the past, like that UDT, that's a deal breaker for both of us. Yeah. That thing has terrible loom and no backlight. Yeah. And it's funny because like this Omega I've got here is 26 years old, and the loom on this is better than a lot of the new watches I've gotten. Yeah. And it's a watch that the loom was put on in 1999. Yeah. So loom's a super important feature. I think the people who say that they don't care about loom aren't wearing their watches past about 7 or 8 p.m. usually. Yeah. And
it's probably more of a fashion statement than it is a tool. Sure. I think guys that use it, gals too, they use it more as a tool. The loom, the legibility, all that stuff matters. Setting your watch to be accurate. I watched another YouTube guy talk about this. He's like, I just set that. I don't wait for the seconds. Like I'm waiting for the seconds. Like I want this to be as accurate as possible. And I know with a mechanical watch, just one day you're losing or gaining time. But even with the quartz, like a Casio or something, why would you not take the time just another minute and set it to the exact second from your phone or whatever and be good with that? So, all right, second part of this question, or second question, what feature do you find yourself using more and more recently that might be a little bit different, or maybe for a different reason, if things have changed up a little bit? Or like Jim, you've got new Casios, like you find yourself seeing a feature that's like, oh, you know what? This actually is working its way into my more frequently used features.
Yeah, it's correct. I mean, you're looking at a picture of a Casio watch when it's released, you might not be totally sold on it, and then you try it out and you realize, oh, you know what? I kind of like this. It's like that new GAV01. Everybody said it looked dumb. Everybody said it looked like a virus. Let me see if I can find it. But I mean, I tried it out. I used it. I was like, this is not that bad. I kind of like it, So that was, I mean, that one doesn't really have any standout features pertaining to your question, but, I kind of answered that when I was saying about the loom. I'm finding myself using loom more and more.
Okay.
And then, the feature I can't live without is that, multiband 6, like just knowing that the watch is synced up just takes out that like hesitation about whether your watch is displaying the correct time or not, Yeah.
Right.
So some type of synchronization. I mean, I prefer multiband 6, but I guess Casio wants to move on to Bluetooth. I don't really like Bluetooth, but if it's the only way that you can get your watch synced up, then, that's where we're going to have to go,
Yeah. Yeah. So long as it's got tough solar, because sometimes the Bluetooth, if it doesn't have tough solar, you get like a 2-year battery life out of the watch. It just seems like those watches with batteries and Bluetooth just don't last. Like they have, some watches are 10-year batteries or 5-year batteries. And then you get one with Bluetooth that's not solar, like 2 years, maybe 3. It's like, oh, turn off the Bluetooth and you can go 3 or 4. Like, dang, come on, put a battery in there that gets you 4 or 5. Let's go.
Yeah.
If I can wear a data bank calculator watch with all the stuff that thing can do, and it has a 10-year battery life, you can figure out something else here. So
Yeah.
That's what they should do. They should put a solar panel on one of those data banks. You're wearing a massive, watch anyway. Just put a solar panel on there and make it a tough solar watch.
That would feel like your arm is cooking when you're wearing it with how thin that thing is. You crack an egg on there and it starts cooking right on your wrist.
Paul, do you have any features that you're using more and more? Or is it?
So I do, but this is not a watch specific feature necessarily, but more so the seasonal gravitation. I go shooting once a week to go record footage, to go test stuff. My last trip last week, I was testing out a 60-year-old Browning Auto 5 semi-auto shotgun for one of my local watch guys who it didn't work. And he said, hey, can you get this working? I'll compensate you for your time. And one thing is that here in the mountains of Utah in summer, it is hot. You get sweaty. We had some rain pass through. I'm putting on sunscreen because I'm already getting burned as it is, even with sunscreen on. I like a watch that I can reasonably clean pretty easily. And not just like dirt and debris, but like me getting sunscreen in there, me sweating on it. And that's why this is not, again, watch specific, but I don't want to have a strap that is so intricate that I can't get to every nook and cranny with a little, running it under the faucet or wearing it in the shower or taking a toothbrush to it, that I can't clean it. So that's why I've been gravitating towards these fairly simple rubber straps. They have plenty of holes in them because that means the stuff will get through easier. They won't, pull sweat. And then when it comes time to clean them, you wear it in the shower and then you run it under your faucet and it cleans up just fine. So watch that's easy for me to clean is an important thing.
Oh, man. It's a tie. I got one that's a tie. It's the automatic light on a Casio. The light goes on when you rotate. At night, I kind of like it, and when I go to sleep, it doesn't bother me at all. So I'm okay with that.
My wife doesn't like that. She says that the GBDH 2000s is way too bright. The auto light.
Yeah.
I had it turned on by accident with this, and it blinded me. And I was like, okay, honey, good night. And I go to roll over to kiss her, and I'm like, hitting the face with the backlight from this thing.
Yeah. And the second one is actually I've been using the alarms more. And part of it's my job, with all the stuff that we don't have bells and stuff at school to let us know when the kids are done with our class. But
the kids will tell you when the class is over. You can trust them.
My classroom doesn't have a clock. So
really?
Yeah. And
is this like a prison? Is
no
clocks?
Yeah. No
they
clocks.
Bars on the windows.
Yeah. What? It's night. So, but that and the alarms. For some reason, I'm using the alarms. I've always used the timer function. I love the timer function. But now, and I think it has to do with more of that vibrate alert, I'll set a couple of alarms. I have no fear with it anymore. It's like, it only bothers me, and even if I'm not wearing the watch that's in the watch box, it's not that annoying beeping sound. It just vibrates a little bit and then it goes away. So it's a lower level interruption if you forget to turn that stuff off. But I think the alarms is another one that I'm starting to use more of. But I do like the alarms that you can program to a specific date versus just a date. I love that because it's not only just the date, you can have it a certain day of the month, so like every third of the month, like November 3rd, December 3rd, January 3rd, those kind of things. So you have just all that flexibility with that specific date alarm. And if you get 5 of those, man, you set something 3 months in advance. It's awesome. So,
when you go to the dentist and they ask you if you're free in 4.5 months on a Tuesday.
Yes, I am.
I'm programming it right now.
I just thought of like one feature that's kind of like a deal breaker for me is the day of the week. I look at my watch to tell me what day of the week it is, almost as much as I look at, to tell the time. Because my job is not like a Monday through Friday deal. Like I totally lose track of what day of the week it is, And so it's like the mechanical watches that just tell you the day of the month. At the end of the month, you have to set it, right? To if it's August, it goes to the 31st.
Yeah.
Then you'd have to on September 1st, you'd have to know.
Yeah.
So I like that watches tell me the day of the week and the date, that I don't have to, look somewhere else to find that information.
So, Paul, that's like an NH36, isn't it? As far as movements go, NH35 is just the date, and the NH36 is day date. Is that right?
I think so. Yeah. No, I'm right there with you with that, though, Jim, is that I need to at least have the date. I don't need the day of the week, but I'm also, like, again, the work you do, like, you're not playing by a standard Monday through Friday work schedule. But I'm right there with you that I think a lot of people, I meet so many people who say, oh, I don't need to have the date. Like, well, I use it every single day when I'm setting the, if I'm making plans or I'm doing something, even just doing the YouTube stuff for scheduling videos in advance. Like, yeah, I can look on the computer, but it's easier if I could just roll over my arm and look, right?
Yeah. I think sometimes we poo-poo the date. It's like, how could you not know what day of the week it is? How could you not know the date?
It's so easy to not.
The date for me
I am dumb enough to not know. Do not challenge my stupidity.
And just a reminder, we also think of ourselves as legal counsel. So,
yes.
What day of the week is it? All right. No, but for me, it's the date.
September.
Yeah. So I'm okay with it. I think it's fine on there. As a matter of fact, when it comes to an analog watch, not having the date on there makes me a little nervous. It's like, oh, I really have to know what's going on here.
Well, for me, honestly, as much as like I've tested some really cool analog watches, I've had a couple of local companies send me analog watches that didn't have the date, and I can appreciate it and review it. But the date is a thing that I at least need to have on a watch for me to want to wear it every day. If I don't have the date, I don't want to wear it because I'm using it to go and, if I'm paying rent or I'm, planning things in advance. Are you free on the 25th? Today's, whatever day it is, I can go from there. I like to have that. It's a must-have for me.
All right, let's open up a rant. And I've got a topic, and we know where this is going. Here we go. So everybody who's watching either live or soon to be recorded, we're going to go on a rant. All right, now back to school is going on right now. And elementary, high school, all that junior high school, the kids need to go to school and take care of themselves, homeschool, public school, whatever. But let's open the rant cage a little bit on college. Okay? What would be a rant that you might have regarding college?
So mine is twofold, and it ties to the money that goes into college, but I think it also ties into the pressure that people of the last 30 years have had to go to college, right? When I was growing up, it was like you had to go to college. If you didn't go to college, you were looked upon as being a deadbeat, all this. Well, now it's like, no, if you get into the trades, that is a much smarter thing to do, right? I know plenty of people who, out of high school, they got into being a junior electrician, or they went to welding school, or they went to plumbing school, or they did some sort of trade, and they were immediately making money. They had a trade that is almost always going to be in demand somewhere. And like G-Shock Dojo is saying here, college is so expensive. And we had a conversation on the phone about it where I went to college, but I stayed in state. I got, I did whatever I could to get grants from the state. I worked full time through college to pay for college. Like, I didn't want to have any debt when I got out. But I know so many people who, it's like it got so expensive to do it.
Yeah.
So the cost there, and then the pushing that was done by the school systems and by extension by people's parents, which I get it when it's your parents wanting you to do better than they did. I get that, right? But it's one thing where people felt like they were forced into gutting, however much thousands of dollars in loans to go to college, and how many people are actually using those degrees. Right. So, yeah.
Jim, you got something?
Definitely, yeah. Like, I have a lot of rants about college because it used to be that it was like the top quartile of intelligent men would go to college, and then then it's like co-ed, and then it's like everyone of above average tier intelligence is supposed to go. Like, so like the whole half of the intelligence bell curve is expected to go to college, and suddenly it's a scam. It's an absolute scam. It's a racket, and then they finance it, right? So these people are supposed to be smart. Do they not understand compound interest, right? You give a loan that is accruing interest. Like, do you understand how accruing interest works? And so they suckering everybody in who's like on the top half of the bell curve. You have to have a piece of paper that says, "I'm smart." No, it's dumb. It's like, it's totally unnecessary. And then like with all this compound interest, like you're actually proving that you're stupid because you're getting a loan to go to college. Like, and the loan, like a college is supposed to prove that you're smart. A loan proves that you're dumb, right? And so college should go back to only being for the top quartile. So the top tier of intelligence has to go there because they're smart men who need to learn, like to perpetuate our academic disciplines, or they need professional education, like at a seminary, a doctorate to practice medicine, or law or engineering, like actual professions. But other than that, I mean, you don't need to go to college for most jobs. It's dumb for college to be for vocational training. Mm-hmm. Work is for vocational training.
Yeah, apprenticeships can accomplish a lot of that for vocational stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And then people,
you have an opinion on this, or you're going to keep it to yourself?
I have a lot of opinions about it now that you mention it, but yeah, it's like, and then like recently I was thinking like, now that they let women in the college, like suddenly there's this huge cottage industry, or giant industry, actually. It's not even a cottage industry, this giant industry of dorm decorations. How many millions of dollars do Americans spend on fuzzy rugs, matching fuzzy slippers, and fuzzy shower totes? Back in the day when men just went to college, there was little difference between a dorm room and a jail cell, right? You just had like a bunk and a little desk and some books, right? Now all of a sudden there's like Christmas lights all around the dorm room, and then like fuzzy rugs, and then it all gets thrown away when the woman graduates. That's an absolute waste of money.
Yeah.
Sorry if I took this in a direction you didn't want to go, but that's the nature of my rants.
Okay. All right. Hey, that's all right. You speak your mind. Don't hold back.
What are the commenters saying? Because I think that Deech has been writing some stuff.
Let's see here. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah. I think this is getting down to when you get that college degree or whatever, where do you end up going with it? And the more and more, I think you find people with a degree, and they're not, in 5 to 10 years, they're not in that area where their degree was. And so it's not to say that the degree is useless, but I think the idea that you have these specific degrees in these areas versus the what's the general degree that people used to get, Paul? What's it was called? It was called an arts degree.
Well, yeah. So
the
the associates is just a 2-year degree,
no,
generally speaking. But like an arts degree, you can get a bachelor's of arts, and it could be like there are a lot of very general degrees. I have a business degree, and the first job I used with that business degree was healthcare. I did not work in business. It wasn't until 2023 that I used my business degree as part of a business job.
Yeah.
Right. But that's the difference, though, is that like Deech is saying here, that current job that Deech has came from the fact that they needed to have a 4-year degree with a specific field to get to it. Yeah. But there are a lot of people out there who get a 4-year degree, and employers these days, a lot of them don't necessarily care about what the degree is. They look at it and say, hey, this person spent 4 years getting this. So at least they have enough determination to spend 4 years doing something, which is not the best way to look at it. But, one of the things, unfortunately, I would say is that when everybody has a college degree, nobody has a college degree. It's kind of like, like $20,000 is now like the new like $10,000, like inflation. Now like master's degrees kind of feel like the new bachelor's degrees for a lot of things. Obviously, if you get a 4-year nursing degree, that has more weight to it than a 4-year different degree, depending on the field, right? It's its own conversation, but I the core of it is that if people want to go to college, try to understand what you want to do, and don't overlook the trades. Like doing the gunsmithing work I do, I want to know how to weld, because that would be so handy for the gunsmithing work I do. Would be learning how to weld.
You just get a big old battery and a couple of clips, let her rip.
But then the clips tend to gravitate to the nipples,
So my rant is I think a similar one to what you guys have, but I think universities have become such a business and much less about actually preparing people for work. It's like, how do we get these kids in? And then the big one is get them to graduate. So they have these graduation standards, these graduation markers that they want to hit, getting kids in and out. And with as many colleges that are out there, universities that are out there, there's a lot of competition. And so to keep the prices where the colleges can be lucrative, they keep the prices up. But to Jim's point, they will have the easiest loan process you could possibly have for people who have no credit history and they have no job. And yet they're getting thousands and thousands of dollars in loans. I think it's so irresponsible. Yeah, I think it's irresponsible.
Especially in Texas, like the university system owns oil wells. So they make a ton of money off of oil field royalties. Nobody in Texas should pay tuition. Like acceptance, they like if they have a college program, it should be the top 50 applicants get in, pay nothing. Yeah. So just the fact that all these universities charge money, there's no reason to. They're ripping people off is what they're doing. And then the loans are another step that people get ripped off.
Now, colleges should not be the loan officer as well. That should be left up to banks and background check, credit checks and all that. And it's this business model of they're getting their share, and there's just too many universities and colleges that are out there. So now you've got people that, like Jim was saying, and Paul, I think you're hitting at this too. There's so many people with so many degrees. It's the idea from the movie The Incredibles, which is a great cartoon movie. If everybody's special, then nobody is. And so if you all have the 4-year degrees, then what's the 4-year degree mean now? So the accomplishment gets watered down because, like you're saying, Jim, 50, 60, 70 years ago, that 4-year degree was for the top quartile. It was the top. And so
you're pretty much proving your IQ is over 130, when you get a college degree. But now, like, anybody over IQ of 100 is expected to pay for college. Yeah. And at that point, like, you're missing the mark. And we have to rein all this in because, like, people's lives are ruined by the fact that they're paying all this money for tuition and then interest on top of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the part. These kids come out and they're spending the next 15 years just trying to survive at the moment in time when they have the lowest paying part of their profession, of their career.
Yeah.
They're not making big money until another 20 years later, usually.
Well, and I would say part of it is that with anything you do, whether it's academia or a trade, learning stuff is important, but being able to go and do stuff with what you learned is more important, right? And I think that for the trades especially, they are hard on the body, but you do get to immediately, learn something and go do stuff with it. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter college or not college. It's about execution and actually going out and doing stuff. And that's the important thing, right? If someone goes to college and they aren't saddled with a ton of debt, or, you do, like Deech was saying, a lot of states are doing free 2 years if you stay in state. That's how Delaware was when I went to college. It wasn't free, but as long as I did well in a high school and I stayed in state and went to a specific school, they cut me a massive discount for the first 2 years, which is why I was able to work full-time and make enough money to pay for college. What matters is that you learn something and you go actually use it somewhere. And even if your degree is not the field you end up working in, hopefully you learn something when you're in academia or in a skill that you learn somewhere else and just employ it wherever you are. That's the important thing.
Like there's a part of this, there's a work ethic that comes from that labor world that people sometimes overlook and say, well, I want to go right to the white collar job. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying it's wrong. But I think there's a work ethic that comes from the labor side. When you're young, your body can handle it. And you get this mindset of grit and perseverance and doing something that's tough, starting from the ground up.
Well,
now it's like college, you expect to be at that managerial level right away. And if it's not, like, how do you handle not being a manager with a 4-year degree? And there's this whole psychological, emotochondriac moment where you prick them and they just fall in the corner crying. It's like, come on.
And I would say bringing it full circle back to where we started with the AI watch. With the AI stuff now being so around online, we have all seen the scandals of AI and cheating and chat GPT stuff for papers and whatnot.
Yeah.
And this isn't, I'm not trying to be old man yelling at clouds that back when I did college 10 years ago, it was harder. But there are tools now that make it easier to basically bypass a lot of stuff. Now, obviously, there are also tools in place to stop that from happening. But the idea of, do you want to actually be here doing this? I think a lot of it is that the expectation is that you go to college, not that you actually go to college to learn stuff and get a useful degree, but just that everyone goes to college. So that, again, that's a discussion for a later date, but it is fascinating of how college is not getting harder. It's also not getting easier. It's getting weirder. And it's more so, do people actually want to go and learn?
Yeah.
Because I didn't live at my campus. I commuted, so I had to make an effort to be at college. I drove between 90 miles a day to 130 miles a day to go to the college for the 2 different colleges I went to as part of my education process. So like, I had to make an active effort to want to be there.
Yeah, and Deech brings up a good point. He says that most colleges are way too left-leaning. You're spending all this money. Where's it going? It's to support wacky liberals. People who believe stuff that would never work in real life. They get a salary from the state supporting their college, so paying their salary, and you paying tuition that goes to their salary. A lot of these like administrators and professors, they would never survive in real life. They know it, and it's like this, like becomes this ivory tower of wacky liberal thought.
And I wouldn't mind, Jim, the wacky left, whatever we want to call it, so long as the right is included in it. But when you isolate, when you isolate to one particular group, or you cater to one particular group, now that's not academic freedom. That is, mind
indoctrination.
Indoctrination. Now you are actually indoctrinating. Like, keep it balanced, and I'm fine with it. Have them both out there, and don't denigrate one position, or don't promote one position. Let them just both go out there and let these kids, as college kids, go out there and figure it out.
Yeah, good idea.
All right, well, that's going to be it, because we're at an hour and a half, and we don't want to go much past an hour and a half. This is where people start to get drowsy and drive off the road. So, any last comments? That was a pretty good rant. And you know what, Jim? I didn't realize how passionate you were about college. That was good to know. I did not realize that. That was
okay.
That was
good.
Well,
maybe we could have like a whole separate hour-and-a-half live stream of just college rants.
We may have to do that, but you're going to be sleeping well tonight, man. That was good. So we'll do that again. We'll have a rant, and we'll pick another topic and do another rant, because I think that's kind of fun. It gives total variety to what we're doing.
I think a lot of the commenters are pretty fired up too. Look how many comments we got on this rant.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So if you like that, put it in the comments if you're watching the recorded version. And for live, thank you guys for watching and giving us the feedback. But we always wrap up with, okay, so what are you watching on YouTube's? What's the channel? What's the latest on your channel? Those are the 2 things we wrap up with. So who wants to go first?
I can go first. For who I've been watching. So this is a channel I found a couple months back, and I've been very automotive focused for the last couple months here, doing work on my vehicle. I've done stuff here and there. And I found a channel from a guy based out of New Mexico, and the channel is called Stein Fab Garage. He's a guy who's about my age, and all he does is get wrecked cars and basically do the Frankenstein's monster, where he gets enough components from vehicles to get a running vehicle that he then sells. So he did a lot of work with Subarus, where he was getting Subarus with blown engines for pennies, buying engines online, resurfacing the heads himself because he's a trained machinist who used to resurface heads, and then putting them back in the car and selling the car. But also crazy stuff, like he's driving around in an old Corvette and putting an engine in the back of that. He's like, I don't want to drive my pickup truck today, so it's like bungee cording the back hood, or the back trunk down over a Subaru engine so he can drive home with it, like that kind of stuff. Like it has that energy of like, hey, this is what we do. Like, and he's got like 100 cars on his property, and the state's always pestering him to get rid of the cars because his neighbors are complaining that there's too many cars there, stuff like that. Nice. But it's just one of those things that I can appreciate, that he's like one of those guys who's like, you know what? If I have a problem, we go fix it. We don't make it disappear. We actually, work on stuff. And he did a couple of videos where he was out with his girlfriend in the Pacific Northwest, and they bought a Subaru Outback on like Facebook Marketplace for $1,000, and they resurfaced the heads in the parking lot of an AutoZone.
I saw that. I watched that.
Yeah,
That was so cool.
yeah. Like he used like Harbor Freight and Walmart power
Yeah.
tools, and he went to Home Depot and got a slab of granite so it'd be nice and flat, and he taped sandpaper to it and resurfaced the engine heads, like the engine block halves, in the parking lot of a Home Depot as part of it. So I like that because he doesn't skimp on it. He shows you everything he does because he's like, I want to show you how to do this stuff. And I appreciate it when, again, talking about college, you can learn things without having to pay to learn things, right? And this is a channel. Steinfab Garage is one that I like. For my own channel, it's just been continuing more of the same. A lot of stuff about handguns. I've got this Auto 5 video coming out soon, which is just... It's an editing process. It's a ton of footage that I got for it and a lot of photography. But I'm continuing on with the same stuff I'm always doing. I'll put it that way.
Nice. Jim.
Well, I've been binge watching, like listening to actually, because I got YouTube Premium, so I can like, you know how like it lets you shut off your phone, like the screen?
Yeah.
You can listen. So I've been listening to this channel called Ryan Reeves, and he's like a professor at Gordon Cromwell Seminary, and it's all about like Christian history, like all the way back to like the 1st century. And so I know it sounds really nerdy, but I mean, you asked what I've been watching, that's it.
Yeah.
So, but on my channel, I have a EMF meter. So I'm going to test how much electromagnetic frequency is being thrown off by all these electronic devices that I have.
Oh, that
And
is cool.
when I unboxed it, it started like the meter pegged. Like it was like turned red and was like unsafe. And I was like, what's going on? It was the wireless mic that I was using. You know, and so it's like there's all this hidden EMF everywhere. And so another project on my channel is I want to see like these Bluetooth watches. Are we dealing with a lot of EMF off of those or what?
Right. That is a great idea. Love it. I got hooked into, and this is weird because it's maple syrup farming. And there's a channel out there in New York, the Maple Farmer. And I got hooked into this because I had no idea how sophisticated it got. I always thought like you go out there with a little thing, screw in the side, put a bucket on there, you walk to another tree, hang another bucket, hang another bucket. No, there are hoses. It's like a spider web that goes from tree to tree. And this is done like where this person's at. It's like in deep snow, like Western New York or something like that, upstate New York. And I'm watching this and I'm like, this is absolutely fascinating. Much like the people who go around to move beehives and they don't wear any protective gear. They just go in there and they grab, this whole hive, they move it. But this maple syrup farming got me for about, I haven't been watching it in the last couple of weeks, but for about a month, I was just like, this is the coolest thing ever. And then you watch the processing of it, and what is like 90% of it's water. So I had to boil off all the water to get down to the actual syrup. And just some of the commercial equipment that's used to do that, to get that little bottle of expensive, pure, authentic maple syrup.
You know how much like a tanker, one of those tankers is insured for?
It's so much money.
How much?
It's like $250,000 per tractor trailer of maple syrup.
Really?
Yeah.
And part of it is that, Jim, you and I, obviously different parts of the East Coast, but we both spent a lot of time in the Northeast. You go to upstate New York, and there is a whole lot of maple stuff. That is a big thing up there, upstate New York. When you're on the Vermont border through there, there's a ton of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Huh.
I see Deech has mentioned something here that I'm a big fan of, tinned fish. I've gotten Tim onto more tinned fish, too.
What's that? Tin? What?
Canned fish, tinned fish.
Canned fish. Tinned fish. I got you. Okay.
Yeah. I got you buying eel and sardines.
Oh, you guys like fish in a can? How about jack mackerel?
What is that?
It's just mackerel. It's like they chop off the head and stuff it in the can. It has like the bones and everything in it.
Yeah. That's something that I eat. Yeah, so canned mackerel, herring and mackerel are both really good. They do a lot with mustard sauces or curries or all. You imagine it, they make it, right?
Yeah.
One of my favorites, truthfully, is eel. Deech, I know that you said that you've not gotten past tuna, but canned eel, if you get like Taiwanese or Chinese or Japanese canned eel, it has a consistency that's almost like a southern style sweet barbecue. Is how it is. It's chewy, but not like gross textural chewy. There are bones in there. Eat the bones because they taste good. They got a nice crunch to them. And the thing is, the protein. They are good for you. It's calcium. The thing about canned fish is that most of them are just fats and proteins. Does good stuff for you.
Yeah. No, Paul, when I was up last time I was in Salt Lake City, I came out of that Asian market with like $150 canned fish.
Yeah. The funny thing is that the lady at the Asian market still remembers us. She's like, "How's your friend in Montana doing?" Yeah.
I'm coming down because I'm running low. I got like 4 cans left, 2 cans left. I'm coming. Yeah, I want to talk to her again.
They're going to be so excited to see you.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been a couple of months.
Yeah. Hey, whenever I'm there, I always buy a couple of canned fish. Again, the thing about canned fish is that if you can catch it out of the ocean, you can usually put it in a can and sell it. So eel and sardines are the two that if you haven't tried, give them a try. But for sardines, don't get the cheap 98-cent ones at Walmart because they will be gross. Yeah, that will be like cat food. If you want to get sardines, I would recommend anyone who's here come to my channel and leave a comment and say, "Hey Paul, what sardines should I get?" And I will give you a nice detailed response back.
He's not going to say it online.
Specially tailored.
Well, the thing is, Tim, is that there are so many good types of sardines, but if Deech here wants something spicy, that's going to be a different recommendation than if Deech wants something that's not spicy. Or maybe Deech might be a fan of mustard. We can get mustard in here because there's a lot of mustard fish that they sell.
This is a personalized, you're like a, what do they call that when you go around?
A sommelier? The fish sommelier.
Could I recommend a palate cleanser?
Would you like a saltine?
Yeah. What kind of saltines are we talking about with each fish?
It's
like
honestly
would be like regular saltines, but
this show degenerates so quickly.
Hey, but we love it, and I'd like to think that our wonderful viewers love it too.
I think so too. This is great.
All right, pivoting the channel towards canned fish.
Well, believe it or not, Jim, if you go online, when we're done here, I want you to get on YouTube and look up canned fish reviews. There are a number of channels that are 10 or 15 times bigger than ours that all they do is canned fish reviews.
Oh, it's wild because I was big into canned fish for a long time, and I didn't think to start a whole channel.
It's trendy now. It's trendy. Canned fish. If you next time that you're in your local. Even like Walmart now is selling some of the nicer stuff from the Balkans or from the North Sea. And you'd be surprised. You actually find some kind of fancy stuff there. Smoked sardines and things like that. It's getting popular. Because the big thing with it is if you live in a landlocked state like Utah, I don't necessarily trust getting the fresh fish at the grocery store here.
No.
But I know that the good canned stuff will actually be a lot fresher tasting than the stuff that you get at the frozen section of the grocery store.
Isn't the Mediterranean the place to get sardines?
Yes, Portugal, Spain, Italy to a lesser extent. Morocco is a big one. A lot of stuff out of Germany and Scotland right now. Scotland's great for mackerel. Scotland has a ton of great mackerel. And then the Asian stuff, I would say eel is really good from Asia. The thing is, Pacific Ocean sardines are a lot softer for their meat than Mediterranean ones. And I find that the Mediterranean ones have a better bite. It tastes more like a meal, where the Asian ones tend to be a little bit softer. And they're a little bit mushier.
I like the sardines that don't have that dry taste to it.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like it has a moisture that goes all the way through the fish. I've had some canned sardines where it's like, oh, it's great olive oil, whatever. Then you bite into sardine, it's like eating, like sawdust.
It's just like eating like meat that has nothing with it. Yeah, that's why and that's the case. Next time you're down here, we'll buy some curry sardines. There are Thailand sardines that come in green or yellow curry that are spicy and less spicy. Yeah. And those are good. And they're a little bit softer, which means they're more tender for getting the juices. I like it a little bit firmer, but I also eat mine doused in the hot sauce or mustard.
Yeah. All right, gents, that's it. We're gonna wrap it up right here. There's some guy out there that has 200,000 subs.
Matty Carlson. He is a great guy.
Wow.
Well, if he's Carlson, he must be Scandinavian then, right?
He is half Japanese, half American.
Never mind.
Way to go, Jim. Always
Yeah.
standardizing people.
But Scandinavians, they know they're canned fish, but
Yeah, I will not be trying surstrumming at any point. I will be skipping that one.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're wrapping it up. Thank you all to the people on the audience. Comments. If you're watching it recorded, put the comments in there. We do go back and look at them and watch the channels. Jim, your channel is Jim Kinkade. Is that right?
yes, sir.
There it is. Paul, what's your channel?
It should just be Paul W. is what it comes
Paul
up
W.
as.
Paul W. Mine's
P-dubs.
here. Yeah. All right. You guys all take care. We'll see you next time.